Welcome to Scripps News Live. I'm Lisa Ram in for Laura Magarino. Since Hamas launched its brutal terror attack on Israel, tensions and fighting have escalated. So has the U.S. presence in the Middle East. Russia has been trying to take advantage of it all since much of the world's attention has been turned away from its invasion of Ukraine. President Biden called this an inflection point in history as he turned to Congress in his address to the nation late last week.
The security package I'm sending to Congress and asking Congress to do is an unprecedented commitment to Israel's security. I'm asking Congress to make sure we can continue to send Ukraine the weapons they need to defend themselves and their country without interruption. It's a smart investment that's going to pay dividends for American security for generations.
At this critical time, the speaker fight in the Republican-led House brought Congress to a halt for 3 weeks. Algene Sajery joins us now. She is a former Democratic policy director for the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for being here. You heard the president. This feels like you heard the president. This feels like an inflection point in history. How vulnerable does this leave us? And how dangerous is it that Congress is unable to act due to what's happening in the House right now?
It is extremely dangerous. It sends the absolute worst signal to our adversaries around the world, and it also plays into their hands. The people who are really angry and upset about what's going on in the House are the American people. The people who are sitting down and smiling and watching this circus, if you will, are our adversaries. Putin, the Iranians, Xi. These are the people who are saying, let it all unfold. Let all the anarchy unfold. Because the more disorganized we look, and we are, the more chaotic the Congress is, the more they win, the more they get away with. So yeah,
this has been
dangerous.
It is dangerous, and a lot of people have described it as a circus. Last week, President Biden asked Congress for more than $105 million for aid for Israel and Ukraine. It also includes $14 billion in added border security, two words that Republicans like to hear. Will that help Republicans vote for this aid package and start to move Congress forward?
Well, let's hope that more Republicans decide to get their big boy pants on, if you will, and move past single issue, ideological hang-ups about any particular thing and move towards negotiations. That's what we used to do in the House and in the Senate, is actually talk through issues and represent the views of the American people. And now we're seeing Republicans really allowing anarchists within the farthest corner of their caucus completely tear down the system. They want to burn it down. And so unless we see people actually say, listen, we need to put this all aside so that we can get back to governing, so that we can keep the government open, so that we can provide assistance to our allies, as well as innocent civilians that are hurting, and take care of the border, then we're not going to have the kind of adult grown-up conversations required to govern in the United States Congress.
Yeah, well, you heard the president say that the conflict in the Middle East is going to be taking a back seat to Ukraine is taking a back seat to that, rather. Some people say it has also turned the attention away from our border. Considering how Republicans have criticized the Biden administration regarding the border, should this become priority number one as soon as the House gets a speaker?
I think it absolutely should be priority number one to get this entire package through. I think the border is an issue. It's an issue for Democrats too. It's an issue for Democrats. I mean, I'm from New York City originally, and I know that Eric Adams, for example, has complained about the situation and how they're not able to really keep up the demands of the migrant population. We have migrant children housed at the Chicago O'Hare Airport in a bus depot on the floor. Local elected officials want to deal with this. Democrat or Republican. We want to make sure that we keep people from having to come here in the first place, from dying while crossing to migrate to the United States. I'm an immigrant. I get it. Okay. But I think that everybody deserves a sense of security, a sense of, listen, the United States is always going to be a beacon of hope for migrant communities. But we need to work together in order for that to actually happen in a really constructive way that is acceptable for the existing communities that are here.
Yeah, in your opinion, though, how are all of these issues weighing on America? We've got this history of partisan politics when it comes to the war, when it comes to Ukraine, and the list goes on when it comes to the border. How is this really affecting us here at home?
I think the American people want to see a government that is functional, that's able to address these issues, that's able to sit down at the table across from each other and have real conversations and iron out a package that actually serves the American people. Rome is burning, okay? I've heard from a lot of Republicans over the weekend say, we look crazy. I even heard a legislator say, this is the biggest FU, this lack of a speaker, to the Republican voters. And I believe that's right. I think everyday Republicans are not supportive of the anarchist wing of the Republican Party. And they want to see Congress succeed, to govern, to take care of the needs of their communities and to address the issues that they voted them in for.
Yeah, they were elected for.
It is problematic, and we hope that the American people get what they deserve, which is a governing Congress.
Former Democratic Policy Director for the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Algene Sajery, thank you so much for your time and your insight today.
Thank you, Alyssa, for having me.